Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. Coaches, the JAMODI podcast is powered by Shoot 360. The future of basketball has arrived in Dallas-Fort Worth. Shoot 360 combines the latest sports technology with the fundamentals of basketball skill development. The result is a one-of-a-kind video game-like basketball program designed to improve your shooting, dribbling, and passing. Visit shoot360dfw.com to learn more and register for your free 1-hour workout evaluation. Shoot 360, the future of basketball is here.
That's a great question. I think that sounds nice. Man, I can't remember who said it. Somebody loves the idea of being a basketball player rather than what it takes. Yeah, it's
I had a player. I had one of my players tell me. He said, I asked him. I said, what do you want to get out of this? Like, what do you want from basketball? I said, I just want to know. And he was like, well, coach, I want to go to college, and hopefully play professionally and make some money for my parents and be able to take care of myself and help my grandma. And you know what I told him? Man, that sounds really good. Sounds like it's been rehearsed. You got it down to a T, but do you know what comes along with all of that? The responsibility. If you don't want to get up now and be at morning workouts, how are you going to be able to do it in college? You're just not going to flip that light switch on when you get to college. I said, what's going to happen if you don't correct these things that you're doing now? When you get to college, you get in the doghouse with that coach. And you never get out of it. Even if players get hurt, they'll play walk-ons in front of you just because they're just like, you know what, I can't trust them. And if a coach can't trust you, he cannot play you.
That's really good. And I was thinking about you're talking about the structure of college, and I think that's one way that the high school coach is still really valuable and involved with that recruiting process. And the select world that's really important. And those coaches do an awesome job of making those connections for players. That's when they're out and about and they're seeing them the most. And I got seen back in the day with the Fort Worth Lions that don't exist anymore. But, so it definitely serves a purpose. But the high school coach, after they've seen you play, all right, I need to know if this kid can survive in this environment with the structure, with being to places on time. What's his tardy slip like? Like, is he late every day? What are his absences like? Like, is he in trouble a lot at school? Or that's where they're still going to come to the high school coach to ask, because it's the closest thing to their environment that there is. And like you said, they already know he can play, but now can he actually exist here? And so I still see value in us and in high school basketball for that.
Yeah, because you got to think about this. How many college coaches go to AAU practice? None. They only see them in the.
That's a good point.
When they come to a high school workout, they want to see if you're first, if you're second, if you're going hard in every drill, if you're the first one to sprint up there when it's something that when coach calls out, hey, give me 4 guys out on the court right now. Are you paying attention? Are you coaching your teammates up? Are you having a lot of energy? That's one thing that we put into our culture over at Madison. I make the players cheer for each other for everything. The whole entire time. The whole time. They're cheering for each other because I tell them this. How can you cheer for someone in a game and you don't cheer for him in practice? See, what I want to do is cut out that guy that may be feeling some type of way because he might not get the minutes that he's getting. And he might not be as good as the person that's starting or the guy that's in front of him. But the thing about it is, if you're patient and you have a great attitude and you're a good teammate, good things will happen for you. I tell them all the time, I say, do you think when Kevin Durant and James Harden were playing together, you think Kevin Durant was hollering at James Harden to pass him the ball? No, they're grown men. They would go up and have a conversation. Hey, I'm open. I feel I can take this guy, man. I'm going to come off this double stagger. I'll be wide open. Make sure you hit me, all right? and they move on from it. And that's the thing about, just being a good teammate. I just really feel if you do that, everybody's not going to play a bunch of minutes. But when your time is called, if you have the right attitude, you will be productive. But if you're over there with that bad attitude, man, coach is not playing me. Look at the opportunity he gets. Well, when you get in, you're not going to be successful. So I just thrive on them being good teammates, understanding how to communicate with each other. Men have to be able to communicate. We have to be able to do that.
Coach, I don't think I've ever made that connection like you did with having that spirit and energy, the celebrations happening in practice,
All
and
the
then
time.
connecting to how they do it in a game. So a great example is like one of our standards is we celebrate every wide open three that we take.
Oh, yeah.
Not make, but takes. Every time like one of our guys pull it, you'll see our bench all stand up, but that's a game standard. I don't know if I do a good job of connecting it to practice. Today we were doing a 4-on-3 passing drill where 2 alleys, 2 corners, 3 defenders, a 2-sided drill. 3 defenders are working on, you're down a guy, the ball's moving and you got to react. You got to make it work. We're Xing out, we're closing out, we're trying to get deflections. We're just fixing problems. Offensively, we can't dribble, and we're just trying to move it faster than they can move, and what one of our standards is offensively to make the ball work. And so when we're just making the ball work and we're trying to find the open guy because the open guy is the most dangerous guy on the floor and we shoot it, I watched today, even on a made shot, quiet players. We rotate. They're working hard, coach. Like they're getting after, they're doing everything, but there's no spirit or enthusiasm. Why would I expect it to happen in a game, especially when feelings are hurt, when people are in them? You think I'm just going to magically like, hey, what about our culture? Well, coach, they should say this. Well, coach, we don't do that in practice, so why do we do it? Man, I think that's a really good nugget, coach.
I want guys to be able to say, hey, coach, hey, man, Brian is really, he's making some shots tonight, coach. Let's keep running everything through him. They understand everybody's got a night to where their number is going to be called, and they're going to have a game like that. Because I said, any coach is going to game plan for players. Any coach is going to game plan for them. So, just that night, it might be a night to help us lead us to a win. So everybody's got a game in them. But, I learned that I talked to some coaches at TCU, Coach Bedford, and, we've gone down to U of H. We've watched their practices and over to SMU when they had Rob Lanier over there. And I just saw the energy from the assistant coaches, and the players, the GAs, to the student managers, to where how much energy they bring. And that's what I tell my coaches. Hey, when I send out a text, let's make sure we have a lot of energy. Let's make sure we coaching these guys up. Hey, if we have to correct them, let's make sure, man, the correction is under 20 seconds so we don't cut into the time. Because we have a practice routine that we're following, going through. Hey, man, we're going through our stations. Boom, 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 boom. We're in and out. And that's kind of how I want it. In the morning time we lift, evening time we run. We watch a lot of film with these guys from the previous year when they played. And we talk about some things that just need to be corrected. Like I told them this year, my philosophy would make me a really, really good coach at Kimball. The way I game plan, I help Nick game plan. I took a football approach because I coached football for years too. So most kids have a low attention span. They can't watch an hour and a half of film. Okay. So right now I'm telling you my cheat code. I don't know how many people go.
Let's go.
I know my brother probably would get mad with me telling him this. But when we used to do film, I would get 4 or 5 games of the team that we're playing. And I would do a count of how many of the times they run this one play. And that will let me know if that's their bread and butter. If that's their main thing that they're going to go to. Also, I look at how many times they make wing passes to the right, how many times they make wing passes to the left. So if they're making 75% of their passes to the right, that lets me know that guard likes going to the right. I'm also going to watch and see if you backdoor. If you never backdoor, we're going to jump every one of those wing passes over and over and over until that coach tells you to go backdoor. So all players are going to get a cut up. They're going to get a highlight of all the plays that they run. And it's going to be snippets. And they're going to get the guy that they're guarding that night. They're going to get a 4-minute cut up of all the moves that he likes doing. Then when we come back in practice, we're going to run the same sets. They're going to have the same jerseys on, and our players are going to mimic the same way that player's playing in that starting. So that always gave us an edge. We learned how to blow up plays.
Yeah.
And we're going to take this away. They'll never get into it. I don't want the point guard bringing the ball up. He brings the ball up 90% of the time of the game. Let's make the three bring it up. He's a scorer, so guess what we're going to do? We're going to let him bring it up. He's going to get frustrated. He's just going to get out of character and just throw the whole offense off. So those are things that I kind of took when I was at Kimball. We went down to U of H, and I learned so much from Coach Sampson and some of the things that they were doing. Then I learned a lot of stuff from Greg Marshall when he was coaching in Wichita State. And I just take stuff from bits and pieces of coaches, and then I put it all together on how we need to be doing our defense. Because, I did the defense for years over there with my brother. I was fortunate enough for him to let me do those things. And, no middle. We have so many drills. I remember he hired a coach, Coach Douglas. And he said, man, how many defensive drills do you have? I said, probably 50 or 60. He was like, seriously. I said, no, I got drills for days. Because you don't want kids to get bored. If you keep doing the same drill every day, they get what? Bored. So that's kind of my cheat code. I can go on and on about it. I know my brother's probably like, no, don't say that, man. People gonna know now. That's how they gonna start game planning. You find more football teams doing that, where everything is so data driven. Like I'm so big on right, left, who's catching it. We got to take this guy out. We got to force this guy to catch the ball every time. When he does catch it, jump trap him every time. I don't care who's out there, jump trap. If we know a kid is a really good scorer and he's crafty, like when we played, what's the kid, Nick Smith Jr. He's actually right. I think he plays for the New Orleans Hornets right now. It was a first-round pick. Nick Smith Jr. was averaging 30 points a game. We held him to 13. So what we did was, instead of jump trap him hard, we did a soft jump trap. If he wanted to bring it up, and he was bringing it up every time, soft jump trap just to make him pass. Then when he get in the half court, hard deny. But the coach didn't realize if your kid is getting face guarded, the best thing to always do, make him go screen for someone. Nobody ever thinks about that.
A lot there, man. I do appreciate you sharing that. You know what I've learned from doing this for about 3 years now, not occasionally, often I realize, golly, I don't know a lot. I realize that quite a bit. But two, that I don't think I do things as intentionally as, and I think in the area of film, I need to be more intentional. I need to be more organized instead of just being lazy and say, hey, we're going to watch a quarter here.
Well, with this, I'll tell you, we do cut-ups. I can't sit here and I can't sit here and tell you that we were watching 35, 40 minutes worth of film. Because kids will get to doing what? Looking, getting like this, head turning sideways. So we saw that doing the cut-ups, but it'll be the cut-up of the same thing several times throughout games. And they'll be like, okay, that's what they're running. All right, well, we're good. Now you get a chance to see their transition offense. You get a chance to see their transition defense. If the transition defense is not good, this is what we're going to exploit right now. Every time we play them, that ball should be going in the post because the 5 guy, he's not getting back. So guess what? He's going to have a guard pick him up. So it's a quick dump down there. Do not shoot the 3, throw it in the post as quick as you possibly can.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.